Hey, just came back from Gabby's. Today's my 60th birthday. So, what does 60 feel like? To me, no big difference. Maybe in the morning when I wake up. So I went to Gabby's, had a good celebration. I met some neighbors from the building, ran into them, all sat together. They sang happy birthday. I was embarrassed. Anyways, so what are the fears of turning 60? You say when you get older, you start losing your hair. No, I started at 22, so no worries there. They say you get slower, so you gotta talk slower. They see you forget things. So sometimes I write things down, I forget what I wrote down, I gotta write it again. What else? Things, as I say, when your nephews, your nieces, your grandkids are around, you start poking your face in, it doesn't go back. So far, so pretty good. So 60, I guess, is a state of mind, being 60. But anyways, I had a great 6 years, I guess you could say. So, you know, I mean, been around the world. I mean, how many Americans can you say that's been around the world, jumped out of planes, rappelled off buildings, copters, search and rescue at sea, rough sea, whirlpools, and all kinds of crazy things. When you're 22, joined the Reg Force. I joined the reserves when I was 18 or whatever for 4 years. Been a while now. I remember all these things. See, forgetting things at 60. So I joined reserves, 79 Com Regiment. Back then, down at Fort York Army, used to take the subway, the bus, the subway, and the streetcar, hour and a half each way. Get kind of used to TTC traffic. Anyways, and then I went Reg Force after that in '86. And you know, when you're young, you want to do all kinds of crazy things, which I've done. So I can honestly say I'm so proud, I'm so honored to have all the great experiences. I've been around the world a few times and posted all over the world. I've met thousands of people, different languages, studied languages for my trade, been in different operations, been in search and rescue, been in the sub, rappelled off the helicopter, jumped out of a plane a few times, few misses. I like going down there. But you know what? I can honestly say I enjoyed it all. And I gotta say, it's a privilege and honor to have like experiences. I know a lot of people probably haven't seen things I've done and think I've seen, nothing but bragging. But you know what? If you get the opportunity to ever travel, don't ever just give it a second thought, just do it. Especially Ontario. I've been all over Ontario. I've been in most cities and towns in this province alone. And it's a great province. So many small towns, big cities have so much to offer. Just a lot of culture and people are just nice, you know. People in general are great, you know. That's happened. And also, words of advice to give people at 60. All I can say is, I tell my nephews and nieces, anybody, even at this age, or in your 30s, 20s, or 40s, if you are set about what you want to do in your career, don't be so adamant about it. Because you know what? One thing leads to another, and I believe that you can go through many options. If you're meant for a certain path, whatever you believe in, you're meant to be there, like say at point B, but to get to point B, you might have to go reroute, go around, sidetrack, a couple of point C's and D's and E's and E's get before you get to point B. May take a short time, maybe a couple of years. I've been through that myself, you know. But when the extreme of life to the other, study with your priest for so many years, one of your priests, that was a calling there. I studied with philosophy and history and culture, archaeology. I studied languages, part of my trade, ancient languages. Like I said, one thing leads to another, spiritual. I don't need to talk about my faith and my spirituality, that's another subject by itself. But it's led me to meet so many people. My favorite destinations are Egypt to this day. I love the ancient language. I love the people. People all believe in reincarnation, but I don't know how to say about that. I don't believe in that. But you know, when I went to Egypt the first time, I felt like it was home. I walked around everywhere in Cairo, in Giza, which is outside the city of Cairo, where the pyramids are. And I felt secure, and just felt like I was like my second home. I don't know how, just a feeling, just a familiarity, well, deja vu or what. But second time I went there, met my friend Ahmed, my first trip there, and stayed with him the second trip. Met a lot of good Egyptian friends there still to this day. East Coast, my favorite provinces, East Coast and Quebec. After Ontario, love Quebec, love the city, love the culture, love Montreal. East Coast, that's where I learned how to talk fast. Come back here and talk fast. Till to this day, when we're around Newfoundlanders, East Coasters. Some of my best friends from New Brunswick, Bathurst. He joined the reserves and Reg Force as well. And through the years, we've seen each other back and forth. So I always tell my nephews and nieces, I always believe there's four things about your ego. One thing about traveling around the world, it's not a case of bragging that I've been around the world, I've done it all. The best thing about everything I've done is, you know what, you humble yourself. Because when you come back to Toronto, you're running for a mayor, and you meet people, even before that, you just humble yourself. You know, you've been through all experiences, you can always just say, you know what, it's humbling to meet other people to this day. You never stop learning. And I always say that, never stop learning. You never say, I've been it all, I know it all. You know, that's just boring. Because every day is a learning process. I love teaching. I love passing on knowledge. I love sharing, and I also love hearing people's stories. I love people's experiences because sometimes they may give something that I don't know about and incites me to do something else. Inspired. Inspiration is from within, and also inspiration comes from out. I always believe in that. So at 60, don't really feel it too much. Still active, physically fit at my age, going out and doing things. Sometimes it'll slow down, not into the crazy things of partying like I did in my partying, my drinking days when I was even before the military, those days, But also when you see your nephews and nieces going through all the experiences of relationships and different things, you want to tell them don't do it, But sometimes people with parents get adamant because they don't want their kids to go into what they did when they were kids or young adults. But sometimes you gotta let them experience it on their own, and I always do that. To discover your best side, sometimes you got to go through a bit of your dark side, your bad periods in time. You learn from your mistakes, and you own your mistakes, and admit it to yourself, and never blame it on anybody else but yourself, because you put yourself in that situation, you learn from it and you move on. Either you move on or you keep doing the same mistake over and over again, which I've done a few times, until 20 years, oh, I shouldn't be doing that anymore. I better stop doing that. So anyways, at 60, I've had a best career of my life in the military. Before that, meeting all kinds of people. And I can always say, this world, when I joined at 22, naive, young, inexperienced, wanted to explore the world, which I did. One thing led to another. Joined as a steward, as a trade. Found out I had low frequency hearing by a fluke. I always believe in destiny. You just look at it. And then from that lead to another trade of deciphering, decrypting, learning languages. So I can always say, when I hold this world up, I always say that I've been to most places around the world, with a humble heart and just learning open experiences and cultures. And that's what it is. Where the world is one, we're all family, basically. That's what it is. If you treat everybody the same, respect each other's jobs, no matter what job it is, every job is important. There's nothing less and nothing more. And that's the way it is. So, if people kind of diss you or bash you, like in elections, the insults and critics, that's part of life. You've been through it, Hey, listen, when I've been shot at, survived bombs, all kinds of crazy military things, a little couple of insults, not gonna be a big deal. Anyway, so at 60, what I'm gonna do in the next 20 years, get a rocking chair, get some basket weaving, and start knitting, which I've done before with my mom. No, I'm just kidding. Afternoon naps. I'm looking for afternoon naps. I can sit on my pillow and take an afternoon nap. 60 is a mindset. You feel it sometimes in the morning, especially weather-wise. My greatest treasures are my nephews and nieces. I got 6 of them. 4 nephews, 1 grandnephew, and 2 nieces. And that's my greatest treasures. Being the godfather of my brother's first son, my nephew, and godfather of my sister's second child, my niece. And also the godfather of my cousin in the States of 5 kids, and they picked me as a long-distance cousin to be the representative godfather. Godfather 3 times over. That's why I deserve respect as the godfather. You see in the movies, Lots of good memories. I talk about all kinds of things I've done, all kinds of things experienced. But you know what? I like doing these video pods. I like hearing people's interviews and just hearing about their whole history and how they. Also, at one point, you ever look back and reflect, how did I get to this point? I'll say, a year ago, did you think you're actually going to run a lecture, or did you think you're actually going to do a video pod? No. So it's kind of funny. Life is a reflection of what we become or we can be in the future. So anyways, that's my advice. Back to the ego, I forgot. Always believe in things I tell my nephews and nieces about when it comes to ego in life, if you can live with these 4 things about your ego, if you say to yourself, I'm wrong, I was wrong, I need help, I'm sorry, and thank you. If you can say those things without having any deflated ego and just letting it go and just be open about it, then you're fine. And I always tell my nephews, my sister asked me years ago what the best advice you can give your nephews and nieces. The best advice I give you is this: there are 3 kinds of jokes. One's spontaneous, one's planned, and one's delayed. You can live with life with that and have a good laugh. If you laugh at yourself, the silly mistakes you make, and I make quite a few, and you can look back and say, oh boy, well that was dumb. But you know what, you can laugh about it. Back then you're not, but now you are. So at 60 I say go for it. If you're going to be 60 like me, just want to tell you right now, stay at home. Don't go out. It's dangerous out there. No, just kidding. Anyways, thanks for all the birthday celebrations, all the people celebrated me, email, internet, phone calls and all that. And people around the world, different emails and different messages the last few days and before that, because of the time difference. They're wishing me happy birthday yesterday because it's the time difference from Australia and New Zealand, and it's kind of funny. Especially when they start calling you sir. I was at the store the other day and opened the door, and the guy says, "Thank you, sir." And I was like this. So you're talking to me? I said, "Oh shit, I'm turning 60." So, last two elections they had there last year, you know what? The best part of elections is not just winning, it's to meet all the people. I met new friends. I learned a lot of respect for different advocate groups and the stuff they do through. And you know, it inspires me to do other things. I can help out in the community any which way possible. So if you can be a community advocate, I always recommend volunteering, get to know your city, your people. You know, took an oath to defend this country, took an oath to get elected to serve the city. Didn't win, but I want to still serve the city and also work with others. I've met a lot of people last 5 years. So if I get a chance to work with you, it'd be an opportunity and an honor just to work with you. You got great personalities, you got a great sense of humor, and you got a great heart. That's the big thing about a heart. Always have a heart, have a soul, and if you ever make a mistake, like I said, you own it. Don't let anybody put you down for your mistake, because you know what? You only answer to yourself. So don't look over your shoulder, people racking you about what things you make. You know what? Because what? You don't need anybody to tell you you're no good or you're a mistake or you're dumb or you're stupid. You know what? That's you and yourself, and nobody knows that. You can forgive yourself for the foolishness you made, and you can also pass it and move on and inspire others. So that's my advice for 60. Tomorrow I'll be 61 and one day and close to 61 next year. So anyways, thanks for all the birthday wishes. Gonna have some cake this evening with the kids and dish it out there. Made some cookies on the weekends and custard tarts, French vanilla French toast and all that. So keep doing videos, talking and sharing. And if anybody has any advice you want to give me, I don't want to hear. I've done it all. I'm 60. I'm just kidding. If you want any advice from me, I'll give it to you for a price. I gotta work on my pension. Anyways, have a good night. 60, big 60, 60, really.